It's a rainy day. The sun just peeked out, but it's been raining all morning, and I'm working on fixing an old broken chainsaw. This is from an OlioMac. My advice about OlioMac: don't buy an OlioMac. My father-in-law gave that to my wife years ago, and you can see right here, I've tried to repair it a few times. I used some JB Weld. It doesn't stick. It doesn't stick to the plastic. I had that glued in there. This is right where the chain runs along here, and it's slowly carved away the pin that holds the spring that engages your brake. So I just pulled that out. I had that little metal tube on there. I started fixing it last summer, and I never got around to it. So the brake won't work. I don't recommend running a chainsaw if the brake is not working. It's one of those things. It's, people, in the old days before brakes were invented, were killed by kickback. And I don't care how tough and how big and strong you are. A big enough chainsaw kicks back and hits you in the neck, you're dead. You'll bleed to death before you get to the hospital. So don't fool around with chainsaws that don't have brakes. Put them in a museum. Put them in the scrap heap. But don't use them. We can't get this part. If I could buy this, I would have, but I looked online and I don't seem to be able to find anywhere that sells these. I gotta figure out a way for the pin to stay across. That's where it goes, right in that hole, without being in the way of the chain, because the chain runs along here and it's slowly cutting its way right through there. So there's no integrity left there. And also, see what's happened, it's moved, the hole's moved back. Also, it has to allow the spring to still work through here. I think I know what I'm going to do. If I could just buy this part, I would be all set. I'd be done. So, it seems like a simple fix to me, but what a bad design. I don't think this is going to work. It's too stiff in there. Doesn't really move freely through there, so it's not working the way it's supposed to. And if I get something bigger than that, it doesn't seem to fit in there. You got to kind of hammer it in. See, it's not sliding in nicely. So I think the plan is to come down, maybe put a metal plate in here, weld a little metal bar up and across and over, through, and maybe I can come up with some way to fasten it across here and down into this little pocket here. Okay, so what I've come up with, I took a nail and I bent it around, just a wire nail, and I was thinking of actually putting a piece of sheet metal on top here, drill a hole. There's enough room to get a little nut on the inside, but I don't think this plastic is strong enough. See, this chunk broken right here. So what I'm going to do is go right to the source where the strength is, right here. Like I had originally thought of doing. I'll cut a little piece off this plate over here. We'll drill a couple holes, bend it up and around over this corner, up along here, and then over the top. And I'll just take the MIG welder and put a bead of weld around the top edge and the side, and I think that'll give it enough strength to hold that spring, and I think the job will be done then. So, and I'm hoping there's enough room. I filed into this plastic a little bit right here. I think the chain needs enough room to pass without hitting that metal, but if it hits it, it hits it. I mean, I'm not gonna sweat it too much, because I gotta get this thing up and working again. So that's where I'm at. Okay, I marked it out. I used the cheapest calipers I've got just to get some reference marks on there. I'm going to cut a little narrower up here. Maybe cut this off. We'll hammer it around to try and fit. Let's go. There we go. There's a start. So I got to do my first bend right on that line. come up and around. I'm not too worried about how it looks. Good. So I think I got to knock a little bit off that high point right there. Bring that in a little closer. And that goes there. Lay a little bead there. And bend it over the top. Yeah. This isn't, it's going better than I thought. So we just got to mark and drill these 2 holes. I like it. See, that JB weld doesn't even hold. Nothing sticks to this plastic, whatever it is. Fits pretty nicely. Okay, so I just got a little weld to do. And cut that piece right off. This is going really, really good. Yep. It's kind of a homemade chainsaw now. I got 2 holes are drilled. Spring is on. Let's see if we can get it in there. Just gotta hook it up. It goes right in that little groove right there. And it's now working for the first time. It's working properly in a very long time. Okay, it's been a couple of days now. So I got this back. I got it together. I didn't like the fact that it was almost no clearance here before I brought it from the workshop. So I cut that a little closer here and welded a little piece in there. A couple of blobs of weld. Not too pretty, but it works fine now. Brake actually works. First time, and I think this has been a problem for about 3, 4, or 5 years maybe. And I'm missing a bar nut, so I got a whole bunch of these bar nuts in the toolbox at the shop, so I'll get one. I think I took one off this saw to put on another one. And we're missing the aluminum piece that goes on here, so that's got to be addressed as well. Chain can fly around and hit your hand or whatever, so I'll put a piece on there. But right now the issue is it's not starting and the pull cord's kind of slipping and missing, so I'm going to pull this pull cord off. Torque screws, it seems to wrap right around. I think I got to take this side off too. I've never seen that before. Usually I have a little piece here that comes off. Got it pretty much cleaned up. It's hard to get this sticky sawdust with oil covered out of there, but with the compressor, and I used a couple of brushes. But I found the problem with this, and if you pause your video, you'll see it too, unless you've already seen it. The wire for the turn switch, kill switch, I think it's grounding out right there. So something happened. The plastic coating on that wire has deteriorated or shrunk or something. Yeah, it's dried red. It's hard. I think this protective piece right here was supposed to be on this side. And there's a grommet there, so it was probably installed on the wrong side from the factory. The only thing I can think of. So we'll fix that. But I just got to get this thing done and out the door, so that'll work. Heat shrink's too big, but it's going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to protect those wires from touching each other. And I took a chisel and a wood chisel, and I went around and I squared up the corners on this. Last thing there, it's missing the aluminum piece for the chain. When it comes around, it hits this. It's kind of a safety thing. It doesn't have it. It's broken. A piece of plastic here. So I found a piece of aluminum, and we're going to put that on there. There we go. That was a piece of my old roof rack here. Aluminum roof rack. So perfect. Thanks for watching.